How do you see the world? What do you think of when you see the first picture on the right? And what about the picture on the left? My guess is when you saw the first picture, you probably thought to yourself, well, that's an unwanted plant. Who wants that in their yard? But when you saw the second, you probably thought, wow, every one of those snowflakes is unique. We tend to associate dandelions with weeds that need to be removed, when we marvel at the magic of snowflakes. We call one wonder and the other stain. But what if we were to look closer, with wonder, at this brightly colored symbol of summer? Would it change our perspective? Let's see. What looks like one flower is actually hundreds of tiny flowers called florets, all jam-packed at the top of a hollow stem. Each floret will develop into a seed, catch the wind, soar into the unknown, and develop into a new plant. Hi, my name is Carolyn Little, and I'm going to be your guide as we explore wonder and imagination and how you can harness it to be change makers of today. We all come into this world with a sense of wonder. It's an essential trait that helps us understand and experience our world. A curiosity that drives us to comprehend how things work. An imagination that allows us to envision what might be. And the power to marvel at what is. As students, you have a special power because your sense of wonder still guides most of your daily experiences. And I know this because I was once a student, just like you. I spent my childhood wandering the forested hills of Minnesota's St. Croix River Valley, hunting for agates, climbing paper birch trees, gathering teeny tiny, super sweet wild strawberries and black raspberries, which stain fingers and fill bellies, searching for morel mushrooms and getting lost beneath the dizzying towers of white pine trees. Some nights, my dad would wake us, and we would head out to explore the night for constellations and shooting stars. One night, when I was just about 7 years old, we headed out in search of Halley's Comet, a cosmic snowball full of frozen gases, rock, and dust soar through the night sky. I remember being awestruck and wondering how many other people at this very moment are watching this celestial ballet. Halley's Comet travels around our sun just like we do, except it takes a little bit more time for the comet to complete its annual revolution. The comet revolves around the sun once every 76 years and has inspired wonder in people for over 2,000 years. The next time it'll be visible in our night sky is in 2061. That is 36 years from now. How old will you be? Where will you be? What will you be doing? Will you still remember how to wonder? I hope so. The time I spent wandering in nature in my childhood has been instrumental to my lifelong sense of curiosity and wonder. The more time we spend in nature, the more it engages our curiosity, which fuels our imagination, ignites innovation, and leads to ideas that change the world. What if we could invent small places in our communities, little wonder spots? They could be as simple as a bench underneath a favorite tree, a table near some bird feeders, a poem stamped into the sidewalk that we skip over, or a seat near a bubbling fountain surrounded by flowering plants and buzzing bees. Dedicated spaces to help us remember our connection with wonder and the world around us. Where would our imagination take us? As we move from childhood to adulthood, it's easy to leave wonder in the back seat as we forge our paths ahead. The pressures and needs of the now become louder and more pressing. The need to do more and be more. We place the curious questions of why and how. And suddenly we turn around and there's our wonder in the back seat, fast asleep, instead of at the helm driving. We forget to look up and around and become solely focused on where our feet are taking us. And I know this because I'm an adult. I'm not sure when exactly I started wondering again. There wasn't some big life-changing movement or event where I suddenly felt my wonder wake up. But if I were to guess, I would say it probably happened on one of my yearly walks in the woods, searching for morel mushrooms. There, beneath the familiar canopy of trees from my childhood, with no pressing demands, and only the sound of my feet making their way through the crisp leaves, a familiar companion began walking with me once more. I found myself asking questions. Where did all of this invasive buckthorn come from? Why are there so few morels? Am I too late in the season? Am I too early? What in the world is that? A plant? A mushroom? I found myself wondering again, and with wonder became curiosity and imagination, and suddenly I was interacting with my world in a whole different way. Now, I bet you are probably wondering what on earth these are, right? Well, these are ghost pipe plants. They're a non-photosynthetic native plant species found throughout most of the United States. And unlike the dandelion, they don't get their nutrients from the sun. Instead, they get their food from sapping nutrients found in a fungus on tree roots underground. What do you wonder when you see this? As a child, I remember watching the milkweed plants that lined our dirt road grow, eagerly anticipating the day when their seed pods were just right, overflowing with flat brown seeds attached to delicate white puffs, awaiting the wind or my breath to soar off into the unknown and lay down roots. A few years ago, I asked my students to look at the humble milkweed seeds that scattered our campus for inspiration, to come up with an innovative solution for humanitarian aid drops. And they came up with some pretty amazing ideas. How does nature inspire you? Have you ever spent time in nature and come up with a unique solution to a problem? How could the wonder spots that we create in our communities become catalysts for change? What could we invent? What problems could we solve? I've had some pretty amazing experiences because of my wonder. Some have been on expeditions where I packed up and left home for days, and others have been from spending unstructured time in my backyard. In Costa Rica, I watched leafcutter ants make their way through the colorful rainforest. I marveled at how the sensitive plant reacted to the touch of my finger, and I sat beneath towering rainbow eucalyptus trees. In northern Minnesota, I picked up rocks worn smooth from the rolling of Lake Superior waves and listened to the haunting call of the loon. I've searched for rusty patch bumblebees in my backyard and observed how one kernel of corn can grow into many. One of my most wonder-filled experiences began when I was just about your age, in the 3rd grade. Fascinated by the flightless birds who call Antarctica home, I did report on penguins. How these krill-loving creatures who traded the skies for the sea could live in such an extreme and unforgiving environment captivated me. Several decades later, I was fortunate to see them up close in their natural habitat in Antarctica as a National Geographic and Lindblad Expedition Grosvenor Teacher Fellow. It was a mesmerizing sight to witness penguins porpoising, jumping out of the water up to 3 times their body length, right next to our Zodiac boat. Curiosity filled every second of the expedition, and it continues to be a reference point for the power of where wonder can lead you. Sometimes it's not just about where you are, though. It's about how you choose to see the world. From the sky-soaring amusement park ride that resembles a dandelion puffball to these rocks that look like little faces, wonder is all around you. Now, those aren't seeds at the end of dandelion fluff. They're people, swinging on a swing at dizzying heights. And these rocks aren't an art installation on the Pacific Northwest shore. These rocks were once the home of pittock clams, who drill through rock at the rate of 1 millimeter a month. That is 3 times slower than your fingernails grow in a month, and leave these perfect circles that have inspired wonder in people for generations. No matter where your feet take you, stop and look around. Take a minute and look down at what you wrote on your I Wonder card. If you're feeling brave, share your wonder with someone later on today. Your wonders may not seem like the start of a world-changing idea or event, but if you continue to wonder, if you engage with your classmates, Your wonders will lead to ideas that will one day change the world. I'm fortunate because I get to work with students just like you who are constantly asking questions about the world around them. From my childhood state of 10,000 lakes to my current one on the Salish Sea, our relationship with water has influenced how my students view the world. Clean water is essential for every living thing. It is vital for daily processes, an essential part to our environment. So imagine for a second, we have left our spaceship Earth behind, and we're on our way to the moon, maybe even Mars. How would we get clean water? It's heavy. We wouldn't be able to pack enough of it to last the duration of the trip. So how would we clean water in space? Well, we wouldn't be able to use one of those gravity-fed water filters that we find in our refrigerators, because we'd be in a microgravity environment, like the International Space Station. And in a microgravity environment, there's such a small amount of gravity that it appears as if people and objects are weightless. So what would we have to change about our gravity-fed water filter to make it work? These are just a few of the questions that my middle school science students have been working on this year. And the neat thing is, their wonders came up with ideas and several versions of a way to clean water in a microgravity environment. Next month, I will take the experiment that we built in our classroom and test it on a parabolic flight in a real microgravity environment. Thanks to Space for Teachers, I, along with 7 other educators, have been working all year with our students, creating experiments that all started off as wonders and a desire to answer questions. Who knows where the results of this wonder-driven idea will lead? After all, it was wonder and a drive to help nourish future astronauts on missions to Mars that helped NASA scientists develop a natural omega-3 fatty acid that has since been added to over 90% of infant formulas and has helped babies from around the world develop healthy brains, eyes, and hearts. Close your eyes for a second. Keep them closed. Let your wonder wander. What will you imagine? What problems will you solve? Okay, open your eyes now. Can you feel it? Your wonder, your ideas, your imagination are creating a constellation of change, a constellation of wonder. Each one of these 24 stars represents 1 year of my teaching career. Each light represents countless students who have made the world a better place because of their wonder. Every great thinker, explorer, and problem solver once started off as a student, just like you. They became who they are by never losing their sense of wonder and curiosity for the world around them. As students, you have a magical way of viewing the world. Your imagination helps you come up with ideas and solutions, and if you harness it, you can become the change makers of today to help improve tomorrow. The light from your wonder will illuminate the night sky and brighten even the darkest of nights as you guide countless other students on their journey of wonder. Thank you, and keep exploring.